We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
All right, look. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, here with my brother from another big game, James. And I'm gonna eat crow. I'm gonna just get it over with. Okay. The Philadelphia Eagles look terrible against the New Orleans Saints. The Philadelphia Eagles are on a 2-game losing streak, and there is some concern. There is some room for concern. The Eagles do have a lot of guys coming back, from that injury report, but there's no excuse. The Eagles, Jay, I hate you, Jay. The Eagles look bad, man. But at the end of the day, I will say, and I will end this little, crow eating session with, I think that the Eagles are right on track to get back. So hey, you guys enjoyed our nice little 2-game losing streak, but it ain't gonna last that much longer. It ain't gonna last that much longer. Jalen Hurts looks like he's coming back, so let's get it, man. I'm excited for what's to come. But what's going on, James? How you doing? I had to get that out of the way.
Like Tony the Tiger says, I'm doing great. You feel me? I'm doing great. What's up, everybody in the chat? What's up, all you Philly guys? What's up, Big Game James? All us Cowboy guys. How y'all doing out there? I'm gonna just go ahead and say that tweet, and let's talk about that tweet first, Joe. Because I made a tweet and I said, you know what? It smells like a one and done. I just was feeling in my heart, because this is why I say that, Joe, and not trying to hate, because we have seen teams like, you watched a lot of football in your life. I watched a lot of football, and we've seen teams really hot in the early parts of the season when they struggle toward the end, and when they go into the playoffs, we've seen them take them first round L's. We've seen it happen. Dallas done did it. You know what I'm saying? So remember, I told you, I said, so I'm not even fronting like, when I made that tweet, all kind of Philly fans jumped, y'all, you should know all about that. I didn't run away from it. I said, I do know about it. That stumped them. They were like, oh, damn. Okay, well, we can have a real conversation. I was like, yeah, I know how we've been one and done. We have played very good at the beginning of the season, and then you lose a couple games at the end. You start doubting yourself sometimes. You start doubting yourself a little bit, and then when you go in those playoffs, man, it gets tougher. You know what I'm saying? And when you're going in there, especially, this is a big game for y'all. In my opinion, this last game against the Giants is a very big game for y'all, in my opinion, because when Dabo said they weren't resting the starters, and this is what I think about him saying that, they don't have nothing to lose. Remember, I said the Giants were frauds all year, so kudos to the Giants for actually making the playoffs. I said y'all are frauds all year.
I was high on them.
You were high on them, and I wasn't. You were saying, hey, be careful of them Giants. I was like, hey, they frauds. So shout out to you, Joe. You called that right. I called it wrong. But I will say this about these Giants. They're going to play you guys tough because they got nothing to lose. They're going into the playoffs with, we weren't supposed to be here. So let's let it all hang out. Let's go in there. They want to go in there hot. They want to go in there and make some noise. So what better way to go in there and make noise is to beat you guys at the end of the year going into the playoffs for them. So that's why I feel like they have nothing to lose. Nobody expected them to be there. So they can play loose. They can play free. They can play however they want, because if y'all beat them, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just happy to get in the playoffs. They're feeling like they had a great year one with their new coach. So whatever they're getting right now is great goodness. That's why I feel like they're going to have that aggressive approach, and I feel like you guys have to match that energy, because you guys don't want to walk into the playoffs, dog, real talk, whether it's a backup quarterback or not, with a 3-game losing streak, and now people are going to be doubting, people are going to be talking, and I don't care what any player says, it plays in the back of your mind, not saying that we're not good enough, but it does play in the back of your mind, like, hey, we got to bring it, or it could be over that quick. So that's all I'm saying, man. It's going to be tough. That's going to be a game I'm going to watch, and it's going to be something good to see, especially if they beat y'all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what you guys would love to see. But no, I mean, look, the Eagles do have Jalen Hurts back at practice. He was stated as limited on the report, but AJ Brown said that he was taking first team reps. A lot of people were saying that he's good to go. So it does sound like he's trending towards playing, obviously. And then I have been able to talk to some guys for the Giants. Paul Dottino we had on yesterday,
and he basically show.
I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, and he basically, said he did everything but said that they're going to rest players. He continuously said he doesn't know if we're going to see Kayvon Thibodeau when asked, Saquon Barkley when asked. And then today, I think they kind of doubled down on that in practice, I think a lot of their backups were actually taking first team reps. So they might not be playing. Again, you never know what's going to happen. I'm not, working for the Giants, so I don't really know what's going to happen. But they might not play anybody. So we might go out there and steamroll them, and we should. My thing is, I think to basically answer the overall sentiment, I think of the tweet was you don't want to back into the playoffs, right? And I think with this Eagles team, and if you look at the players that we have, I said in the beginning of the season, I think that it should be very scary for the league that we have a lot of good players with a chip on their shoulder, right? And now you look at the Eagles, you get to 13-1, you're feeling really good about yourself. You kind of maybe feel like you can just do whatever you want to whoever you want, whenever you want. And I think that the Dallas Cowboys game, it made you wake up a little bit, and it made you say, all right, we got to clean this up. But still, to be able to kind of go, gunning out with Dak Prescott and your offense, that probably gave this staff, gave this team a little bit of false hope. And then once you go into that Saints game and you realize you're just not able to really move the ball, and you're making mistakes on top of that, I think that wakes you up, and that puts a different type of chip on your shoulder now. I've heard people say AJ Brown's lazy. I've heard people say, Hassan Reddick isn't this, isn't that. I've heard a lot about this team over the past couple of weeks. And one thing that this city thrives on, not just the sports teams, but the city thrives on that hatred, thrives on that, you don't think we can do it. And much like you said with the Giants, we have that why not us attitude. Why can't we, go out there and win this last game and dominate throughout the playoffs, kind of like we did in the regular season. So I understand your concern, and I echo it to a certain degree. I do believe there should be a little bit of cause for concern for this team, but at the same time, knowing this team like I know this team, and it's not to take a shot at your Dallas Cowboys, but we aren't the team in the division that necessarily does that goes out there and has crazy seasons and then falls off. We really usually have decent seasons, lose in the second or third round, and like it is.
What?
When's the last time we've had like a crazy?
Y'all used to do that. Y'all used to do that all the time with Andy Reid. So stop.
We used to make it to the conference championship on a
and
regular
that was
basis.
Dope, but y'all lost it.
But that's not choking. I don't even want to say choking.
4 times in a row?
I don't think that's choking. I think that's you getting to that spot and losing. I mean, it's one thing to get into the round. So you're telling me, this is what I'm saying. Every one of those teams wasn't necessarily a Super Bowl team. Outside of the 2004 team, I think that's the only team you can realistically sit there and say they should have won that. Outside of that, the other teams were better. I mean, it is what it is. The Patriots, you can make an argument that they were even bad. I don't think they were. But either way, you look at that and you look at the teams, it is what it is. Like, it's one thing to go into the playoffs as the number 1 seed and lose in the first or second round. But to make it to a conference championship, I don't think that's choking. I don't think that's falling off. I think that's making it pretty to a good spot.
It's not choking to me if it's 1 or 2 maybe, but 4 in a row. I'm sorry, that's choking.
I don't think
you've been there
choking.
4 times. Why did you get fired then? Because you kept choking.
The third or fourth time, I think it was the 4th time, is when we made the Super Bowl. We just lost the Super Bowl. So is that still choking? I mean, we still, I just don't look at it the same. I understand what you're trying to say, but at the same time, I just don't see it that way. I feel like this team, I think this team eats off that. They want you to think that you can't, that we can't do it, that we're going to lose. Like, I just, maybe it's not a good football take. It is what it is. It's more of like, the personality of an entity. But I just feel like that's what we've seen from this team before. When you doubt them, that's when they come out hungrier. So long story short, I know it's a little bit too late, but I think that this kind of just puts a new fire under this team. And I think that's scary. I think having this team getting healthy and now they're angry. I feel more confident in my team. I'll put it that way. Even more confident in my team now, even after these last two losses. I think as long as we go out there and dominate the New York Giants, we fine. We get that first round bye, get healthy. I don't see many teams beating us. I'm gonna be real.
I do. I see us beating you, but that's for another day. Now,
we'll see.
We'll see. Because it is 1-1 in the season, like we said. Oh, like I said. You damn near called your record right though, bro.
I did. Yeah, 14-3. We win.
And if I had us at 12-5, dog. So I was right there.
Yeah,
we're 12-4. You had it right at what, 14-3? You picked 14
Yes,
and 3.
I-
I picked 12
Yeah,
and
as long
5,
as
right?
we
So
win.
we're pretty good. Joe's
Yeah.
pretty good. He nailed that shit damn near.
And I was
nailed
bro,
mine.
when I watched it back, I was everybody, and you didn't. I mean, you did say I was bugging once, but you know, you kind of looked at it and said whatever. But the comments were just, "Oh, you're wild. 14 wins, yeah, right. Oh my god, you're crazy. And it's crazy. Like I thought I was crazy when I, when I did it. I had to like look back
You
at
was
it.
spot on, bro.
It's been an incredible. And I won't even say it's been like one of those. Oh my god, we've just been so amazing. We've been able to go out there and do that. I said it before this season, and I'll say it again. We went against a lot of teams that we should have beat. I mean, point blank. I think that we lost some games that we should have won. You know, the game against the Cowboys is debatable, but the Saints and the Washington game, there's no way in my mind that you go out there and you're supposed to lose those games. So realistically, this season could have went even better. I think I had us losing to Green Bay and the Colts, maybe. I can't remember who it was. It was one of those two. But everybody say there's no, I just can't see the choking. I don't see the choking thing, but we'll see. This I kind of want to bring up though, because I do kind of want to get your opinion, because I think this is a funny back and forth. I think that they're both asked to do different things, but it's a fun conversation to have. What do you think about this Parsons? I think I know the answer to that, but let me reword that question. If you had to give the defensive player of the year to one person between Hassan Reddick and Parsons, why would you give it to Parsons? I'm assuming is what you're going to do, but why? Who would you give it to and why?
If we're talking about just this year, I mean, Hassan Reddick is having a better quote unquote year. He has more sacks. I mean, I think Parsons has, I don't know what they're at like in pressures, but I know me and Laura Brunson had this talk. We were talking back and forth on Twitter, and he was talking about the sacks, and I'm like, are we just talking sacks? Because let's go through the whole game. Because I said he was beating them in pressures, he was beating them in tackles, he was beating them in he was also the missed tackle ratio was 35% with Hassan Reddick and was only 15% with Micah Parsons. So I was saying the whole other facets of the game, and I also said I don't know if they were game planning for Hassan Reddick. Just me, I don't feel like they were game planning for Hassan Reddick because you had other weapons. I felt like they were game planning. You know what I'm saying? I felt like they were game planning for Micah Parsons more because he was just being so damn disruptive, and he was starting to get a young reputation out there. So I feel like he started getting more targets. Plus, he was talking. So, they're probably targeting him more. So if we're talking about the year, I don't think Hassan Reddick is a better player than Micah Parsons. But if we're talking a better year, if you had a defensive player, then I would go with Hassan Reddick because the NFL will look at sacks and they'll look at those things, and we have to be honest with ourselves if that's what they're going to do. But in my opinion, Hassan Reddick is not a better player than Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is only in the league 2 years. How long has Hassan Reddick been in the league? And Micah Parsons, did Hassan Reddick come in with double-digit sacks his first 2 years and all those pressures and that type of stuff? He did not. So that's what I got to look at. And Micah Parsons is still getting better. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really say that he's not a better player than Micah Parsons. I'm not going to stay with that. But if we're talking about the year, yes, he is having a better year.
I respect that. I didn't expect you to. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect.
That keeps
you
it
to
real
say
here,
that.
bro.
Maybe that was reverse psychology.
I'm trying to tell you. I don't be. I don't be hating. It just be these people in the chat. I don't be hating, bro. I'm gonna keep it real.
Wild today. I love it. We already got 100 people in here. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
We'll
start reading some chats pretty soon. Everybody's saying I'm very humble now that we lost 2 games. You damn right. I told you know what I told James after I think 2 videos ago or 2 shows ago, something like that. I forget when I said it to you, but I was like, listen, man, the past couple years since I started my show, I have not really been able to pout my chest about this team. And now that I can, I'm going to. But either way, to piggyback off what you were saying with Hassan Reddick, I'll take it a step further because I would also give it to Hassan Reddick. And I understand what you're saying. And I, to a degree, agree with it. I do think that Micah Parsons is kind of in uncharted territory right now. I mean, he's starting off his career a little bit faster than a lot of people have, and in a multiple variety of ways. And that's why I said they're kind of asked to do different things. One week, he's a primary pass rusher. The next week, he's a linebacker dropping back, talking about Micah Parsons. So he's asked to do more regularly than a Hassan Reddick is. Hassan Reddick does drop back. He does, drop into coverage, but definitely not at the rate that Micah Parsons does. But anyways, to say that, I say that to say this: the consistency that Hassan Reddick has shown not only over the past 3 years, but you look at this season, he's on a pace right now. If he hits 2 sacks in this next game against the Giants, he'll be one of 4 players to have 2+ sacks in 4+ games. If he has 0.5 sacks, he'll then have 0.5 sacks or more in the past 9 games. I mean, he's just been consistently there. He's been consistently a guy that, you know what I'm saying, it has been disruptive. And I understand that Micah Parsons has been that guy for you, but at the same time, there are games that I feel like he disappears, whereas I don't feel like Hassan Reddick has.
No, I can't agree with that, Joe. I'm sorry, I got to cut you off. I cannot agree with that. You got to watch the tape.
He kind of disappeared against the Eagles.
He didn't
What did he
disappear
do against the
no,
Eagles?
bro. You can't do that. See, here's the thing. That's why I talk about these pressures. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now. I say about a pressure. A pressure is great, but a pressure don't mean nothing if he can throw a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? And he just moved out of the way of the pressure. But pressures do mean something, because when a quarterback is trying to make a pass and it's a big down, let me tell you what. Yes, he was, because in Gardner Minshew in that last drive, Parsons was the reason why he was throwing that ball out of bounds when he was trying to complete passes, and he was doing it all game. Like when you were seeing him getting rid of balls quick and throwing them away, that was Parsons right there in his face. Like if you watch
not to make an excuse, and not to, I'm sorry for cutting you off like that. That was
okay.
rude,
No, it's all good.
But
no, I wasn't looking at you like that.
But not to make an excuse, but realistically, right? Jack Driscoll was our right tackle against Micah Parsons in the game 2. We have the evidence that in game 1, when Micah Parsons went against Lane Johnson, he was null and void. He didn't have any pressures. He didn't have any sacks.
He did too have pressure. He didn't have no sacks.
He did not until Lane Johnson left. Until Lane Johnson left. When that is true. When Jack Driscoll went in as the backup, he gave up 3 pressures, and I don't think he gave up a sack, but he gave up 3 pressures in the first game when Lane Johnson went down. That's what happened in the first game. So I'm not saying that Jack Driscoll isn't in the NFL and he's not a player on our offensive line that should be able to step in. I'm just saying that there has been times where I felt like Micah Parsons has disappeared. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there is games that maybe it's just that game. Maybe it's just the recency bias, and I just remember that game, and that's the only one. But I feel like there's games that he just doesn't have the effect. And I feel like every game you can point to at least 1 or 2 plays where Hassan Reddick has kind of changed the tides, whether it be a sack or an assisted sack or a tackle for loss. He makes big plays consistently.
Nah, I can't really agree with you with that. I mean, I love you, Joe, but I'm not going to agree with you with that. Obviously, you're going to watch more all-22 tape with your guys, and you're not going to watch the all-22 tape with my guys. I get that. And I'm not going to agree with you because I've seen Parsons all year on the all-22. Every game, he is damn near affecting that play with that quarterback. He is in that backfield. Yes, Lane Johnson did a good job with him. I'm not taking nothing away from no Lane Johnson, but if you watch that game, they were double teaming him even in that game. Lane Johnson was having some help in that game. He was getting double teams. You can show it. There is proof. So I don't care what you Philadelphia people say in the chat. Yeah, it did happen. Yes, it did. And you need to get the all-22 and look at it. Yes, it did. And I gave your guy props. Why are you Philly fans so damn mad? All y'all mad.
And you know, I don't feel like I'm hating on him. I don't feel like I'm hating on him. I'm just saying that the level of consistency that's not true. That
he's had what, 6 double-digit sacks
Reddick has been able to do. I'm just saying, I don't know, and that's your guy. Yeah. So I take your word for it. I'm just saying, from my point of view, from my perspective, it looks like the level of consistency we've seen from Hassan Reddick trumps that of Micah Parsons. I mean, if you're allowed to go back to Hassan Reddick's rookie year and say, well, compare rookie years, I feel like I'm allowed to say, let me see a 3-year stretch where he's had double-digit sacks, where he's been that consistent like a Hassan Reddick. I feel like if that's the argument we're making, then I think that that's a fair one to defend it with. I think that if you can say, go back to look at his start and it's not even comparable, I can say, look at Hassan Reddick's last 3 years and it's not even comparable. I mean, my thing is consistency. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like Hassan Reddick is more consistent.
You got 2 double-digit sacks this year. You're tops in pressures. You're an undersized defensive end. You came in as a linebacker. They switched you to defensive end. You're undersized. You're constantly seeing double teams. You're constantly being held. These are facts. These are not made up. This is not made up stuff I'm saying about Micah Parsons. He is a target, and for what he is still doing, and like you just said, how many other people do you have on your team that has double-digit sacks? Name them.
4. We got 4 of them dogs. We got 4 of
You
them.
got 4, right?
Javon
We have,
Hargrave,
and we have 1, right? Right. So let me ask you this. Let me finish. Let me finish. You got 4 guys. We got 1. So if you got 4 guys to our 1, do you think Hassan Reddick is going to see all that smoke when you got 4 other guys that are out there giving double-digit sacks too? Keep it real.
I'll answer that with this. I don't know how serious anyone will take this stat, I guess, but the NFL did have a stat that they put up, which was sacks created. And Hassan Reddick led that category. He had 18.5 created sacks for his team. So I think that maybe they're eating. He had 17.5. He was right behind him. Now I'm not going to say.
Oh, okay.
He was right behind him. I'm not saying that. Yeah, but see, I wasn't saying that he does it more than anybody else. I'm just saying he was right behind him. You know what I'm saying? But we weren't talking about that at the time. Why am I going to bring it? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, but no, 18.5. So I say that to say this, right? Maybe the other people are eating off of an effect because this is Brandon Graham's first year of his career having double-digit sacks. It was kind of a running joke that he just kind of stops once he hits 8.5, and he's I think right now at 11. It's a career year for him. You look at Javon Hargrave; he's a defensive tackle, so for him to even be, I don't know if I forget if he has 10. I'm pretty sure he has 10. But it's crazy for him to even be close. Hassan Reddick obviously has 16, so it's like. It comes to a point where do we say, maybe he's the one creating the opportunities for everybody else because he is getting double teamed and still being able to fight through it. I think that's realistically what we're seeing. I think that Hassan Reddick, and I'm not taking away from what Micah Parsons may go through as a defensive end or wherever it may be. I mean, because Hassan Reddick is undersized as well. I think there's a lot more parallels than Eagles and Cowboys fans try to admit between Hassan Reddick and Micah Parsons. I think that's kind of where I'm going. I'm not saying that they're the same player. I'm not saying Micah Parsons isn't, better than him, right? Or whatever you want to say. I'm just saying I think that there's a lot of similarities between their gameplay. It's just about what they're being asked to do. So I don't know. I think that Hassan Reddick opens a lot more doors.
I just feel like, a lot of Philly people just really discredit Parsons, and I just feel like y'all just some haters. I just sit there and told you. I seen her.
But me too. What I said.
Not you.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Not you, but it's a lot of you Philly people, content creators, all that. They're just haters, and you hate so much to the point that you can't see things. And that's where I just be like, that's haterism, because I've seen Hassan Reddick since he came to the league. I believe he came out of the University of Temple. He was damn good over with the Cardinals. Like, Hassan Reddick has been good in the league pretty much the whole time he's been in the league. So when you guys got him in free agency, we even talked about it, Joe. I said, that's a great pickup, Hassan Reddick. He's going to really help y'all. So I never ran away and said, hey, now Hassan Reddick, he ain't this, he ain't that. No, Hassan Reddick is a damn good player. But when I hear people trying to play Micah Parsons like he ain't special, yes, he is. He came in the league. Let's talk about it. I think somebody said in the chat, bro didn't even play as you Penn State is your squad. Bro didn't even play. He sat out a COVID year, didn't even play the game of football, came in after not playing a whole year of COVID, came in doing what he did his first year, and then came in and matched it again. And like I said, he came in at linebacker and they moved him to DN. He is getting more smoke at that DN because people hated on him,
and people in your like, I don't want to say
a lot of people didn't want him. Yeah, like a lot of people didn't want him.
Acting like they're chauffeurs and shit. But no, like a lot of Cowboys people I had to argue about, like, listen, man, same way you guys kind of had to, smack me upside the head about Jalen Hurts a couple times. But I was going to bat for Micah Parsons. There's a lot of people that didn't want him even as Cowboys fans. So I think it's kind of funny sometimes when I see people being like, yeah, Micah, like, bro, you ain't even one. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to say that.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. Well, I mean, even when they talking about looking in the chat, shout out to everybody in the chat. We really appreciate y'all when they talking about the LT comparisons. I mean, that wasn't far-fetched with the way he came in. And then to come back and match it the second year. You know how hard that is? That's not easy to do what you did that first year, knowing you're a target. Now you got to come in and do it again. And here's the thing, like I said, Joe, you guys got multiple guys on your defense. You know what I'm saying? We got a DeMarcus Lawrence, but he ain't no sack guy. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. has 8 sacks, but wasn't nobody thinking he was getting those 8 sacks. And I believe a lot of that was created because of Micah. Micah commands that much attention that other guys will be able to eat because he commands that much attention. He even said, I was playing more linebacker last year. This year, I'm playing more DN. I'm a little bit more tired because he's getting that smoke. Now, like I said, he's 245. You playing defensive end full-time at 245, that's hard. That will wear you down a lot quicker than anything else. And he leads the team in pass rushing snaps by far. You know, our next guy has like 50 pass rush snaps behind him is DeMarcus Lawrence. So he is staying on the field the whole time. They'll put him at linebacker. They'll put him on the line. They'll move him around according to matchups, blitz him. You feel me? That's a lot of work, Joe, to be able to do for one person. So that's why I say people got to really give Parsons his respect out there. I give Hassan Reddick his props. Like I said, I do think he had the better season, but do I think he's a better overall player? I'm sorry, no, I don't, because I look at tackles. He don't have the tackles Micah Parsons has. He don't have the missed tackles Micah Parsons has. He wasn't having the pressures Micah Parsons has, and he wasn't the target like Micah Parsons was. I'm sorry.
I disagree with that last statement. I do feel like teams have to game plan for Hassan Reddick. I don't feel like he's just somebody they say he's part of the team. Like, I think he's somebody that stands out. So, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I'm not in the NFL locker rooms. I want to dive a little deeper into that, though, because there was, and shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. We got 180 people between.
Yeah, we booming. We appreciate y'all.
We Metro booming in the building.
We Metro booming. Metro booming on this moment.
This is fun. And we just we literally, the best thing about this, until draft time comes, that's when we're like talking prior to like, how are we gonna hit him over the head with this? But like with these, I love it because we can literally just come in here, turn on the cameras, and go for an hour like it's nothing. but we're talking about Micah. We're talking about Micah, and there was a quote, and tell me if it's even true, because obviously I'm seeing this on Twitter and stuff, and I meant to bring it up to you before. There was a quote that he said that if your defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, I wanted to say DQ so bad, but DC, if your defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, was to leave, he would follow him. What does that mean to you? Do you think that's real? Do you think that pushes your organization to say we need to keep a Dan Quinn? I know prior to us talking to that, you've been kind of saying that they'll probably promote somebody within that they want, more like a Kellen Moore. Like, what did that quote do when it went out? Maybe that's the easiest way to ask it.
I mean, I think Micah just speaks from the hip sometimes, and he should probably just chill. You know what I'm saying? Because he just speaks from the hip sometimes. I'm just like, man, just be quiet right now. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when DeMarcus Lawrence talks. Be quiet, DeMarcus Lawrence. Nobody wants to hear you no more, dog. Just be quiet. So sometimes I feel like that with Parsons as well. I think somebody, they take it out of context. Dallas ain't letting Micah Parsons get away nowhere. I don't care where the hell Dan Quinn go. He gonna get that bread. They're probably moving that money already right now to go ahead and boatload him. Micah Parsons ain't going nowhere. And I just find it real. I don't see that a person saying, I'm going to leave a team to go follow a coach, and these dudes about to pay me all this money, and I play for the Dallas Cowboys and going to be worshiped like a god. I'll go, let's just say Dan Quinn went to the Cleveland Browns. Let's just say that, right? You going to follow him to the Cleveland Browns, huh, Micah? Or you going to stay in Dallas Cowboys?
Garrett, that would be scary.
Bro,
Cleveland, Dallas.
Cleveland, Dallas. I'm going to say that again. Cleveland, Dallas. You eat, not only do you eat with contracts, you live good outside of contracts with Dallas. You are worshiped like a folk hero. You feel what I'm saying when you turn up. So that would make no more sense to me to him to say something like that. Like I said, I just feel like he speaks with emotion. I feel like he loves Dan Quinn that much that he's like, I would follow you. I love you that much. It's just like my boss. I love my boss. When she left, I followed her. I love her that much, and I got on. But if this other job had offered me all kind of money, I don't care how much I love my boss. We're going to dap each other up. We might text each other, but I'm going to the other job, getting more money. Sorry.
I definitely respect that. Now, I want to ask this because, and looking at it from an Eagles perspective, my team, only player I can say that maybe has this type of power is a Jalen Hurts at this point. Maybe going into this offseason, I don't think he even has it. But do you think that Micah Parsons or any player on the Cowboys, for that matter, has that type of voice that they can go to, Jerry or whoever it may be for you guys and say, "Hey, I need Dan Quinn to stay. That's my guy. He needs to be here if you guys want me here." Do you think that he has that type of pull in Dallas yet?
I don't know if yet. I think it might be close. I think Jerry, because Micah has a very vibrant personality. You know what I mean? I mean, you just gravitate to him because he's just. I mean, he's personable. He gonna talk his mind. And I think Jerry likes that because Jerry's that type of person. And I feel like he would listen. I don't know if he would actually do, but I think he definitely would listen, especially if Parsons came to him like, "Come on, man, we need him here. Do whatever you got to do, Jerry. I mean, do whatever you got to do." I really do think Jerry would take that in consideration if Michael was coming at him like that. Does that mean he's going to do whatever to keep him? I don't know that, but this is the thing. There ain't no salary cap with coaches. You feel what I'm saying? You can pay them coaches whatever you want. So I think that's the key right there. You see him and Kellen Moore, they both went out looking for jobs. It didn't happen, and they got paid. They got some nice contracts, 5-year deals. So it's not like they're coaching chump change out there. So do I think he has a little pull? I think Jerry definitely listens, but ultimately Stephen Jones is around there too, and that's what we need to understand. Jerry is 80. Stephen Jones is all up in the mix too. So he could go to Jerry, but with Stephen standing next to him, as soon as he leaves, Steve gonna be in his ear like, okay, well, we're gonna do something else. You know what I'm saying? So Stephen's like that antagonist of what Jerry is. I think Jerry listens more to the players than Stephen does, because Stephen ain't gonna listen to none of that.
It's crazy how like juxtaposition we are as far as our organizations go. Like you guys like are pinch every pack, especially lately. I can't say like throughout your organization.
That's Stephen, ain't Jerry. That's Stephen.
Yeah, I would say especially lately. Like I don't feel like he wants to spend any money. On the other side, hey, you want $20? We got it. What you need? We'll go buy you a beer if you you know what I'm saying. Like we're just giving out money for interviews at this point. But
check this out though. Before you finish that, Joe, check this out. The thing that Stephen Jones, he irks me. I ain't gonna lie, he just annoys me. But here's the thing: you guys were handing out them contracts and y'all doing the damn thing. We didn't hand out no contracts, and we right there with you.
Facts.
You feel me? You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
We young. We ain't in cap hell. You got 2 back-to-back 12 win seasons. That hasn't happened in 20 years. Your back-to-back playoffs, that hasn't happened in like 10 or 15 years without spending money. So as much as he get on my nerves, we young. We ain't spent a lot on free agency, and guess what? We still winning. That's all I'm gonna say.
I respect it. I mean, I gotta stop saying yeah and shaking my head before I hear the whole thing, because you definitely roped me into that.
It's real. You feel me?
But now you're right. You're right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Shout out to my guy Joey Shakes, man. He just gifted 5 podcast memberships. So shout out to my guy, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, he's always showing love. Joey's always showing love.
Like that.
He never wants to come on the show. If he's watching this, he never has time to come on the show, but he's always showing no love. That's my dog, man. But I wanted to answer this question for Sadika. I hope I'm saying the name right.
Yeah, that's my sis. Yeah, that's my sis.
Okay, awesome. So why haven't they given Jalen a contract yet? So he can't get a contract till after this year. So the Eagles can't necessarily offer him an extension.
I want you to talk about that too
this year. So
talk about that with me.
What
do you think? I mean, he had this year. Now, listen, Joe. Listen, because my guy boss did.
My Eagles fan.
No, I'm just saying. Because you yourself was like, I ain't on Hurts like these other people at the beginning of the season. You were saying that like I ain't going for all this stuff that they talking about. Hurts, you got to show me. You feel me? You changed your tone since he been turning up. But like I said, when we look at the year, I get he's a dual threat, because he's a damn good dual threat. Nobody's taking anything away from him. But if we're talking about passing numbers, they're not astronomical. He doesn't have astronomical TDs. He doesn't have astronomical passing numbers. I don't know if the Eagles are going to throw a boatload of money to him. That's just me.
I think that's a very good point. I don't think that they will either. I don't know how that situation is going to play out. I
think it's going to be some hardball.
It's going to be very interesting. The fan in me says like give him what he wants. but the guy
They're
that
not.
comes on here every week and has to, actually explain that and say it out loud sometimes says that's probably not the smartest idea. I think that Jalen Hurts deserves a contract, and I think that Jalen Hurts deserves to get paid pretty damn well. But there has to be a lot of things in place prior to that happening, which I think the Eagles have that in place. So the couple of things that I think need to be in place are going to be having that defense figured out. All right, the offense is already, in my opinion, figured out. Aside from, is Cam Jurgens ready to go in and be that center next year, which I think everybody's ready for him to be. And what are we going to do with Lane Johnson? I think that that's
Right.
going to become a question, especially after this playoffs, because he is going to have to get that surgery at some point. So those are questions we're going to have to answer. But the defense, I think, is going to be the pressing one. I think the defense is going to be, what are you going to do at the safety spot? Are you paying Chauncey Gardner? Are you bringing back James Bradbury? Are you, what are we doing at that defensive, unit? But then once you have those questions answered, and I think that if you have the same coaching staff, some simulation of this coaching staff, even if Jonathan Gannon moves on or Shane Steichen, it's the same scheme. I think that it would be smart to pay Jalen Hurts the 50 that it's going to probably take, the 45 to 50 that it's probably going to take a year. The TV money's going up, the salary cap is going up. I heard it was supposed to be around 220 next year, but 220 plus, I think, next year. So, I mean, everything's pointing up. Sometimes you have to take a risk, and I will say, if I was a different organization that felt like they would just hold on to him even if he sucked, I would be a little bit nervous about saying that. But I think that if he goes out there and shows that this year was somehow a fluke, which I don't think it was, if he goes out there and shows like this isn't him, he's not going to be a consistent winner, I think my team would just be like, all right, whatever, we'll take the historic cap hit to turn this team around. And they've shown that. So, I trust my team to make the right decision. But to your point, I think it's going to be a very interesting offseason. I don't think it's going to be as cut and dry as a lot of Eagles fans think it's going to be. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun because there's going to be a lot of different opinions too.
Because see, like I said, a lot of teams are looking at, I feel like maybe a lot of organizations are looking at these teams now. I mean, obviously you got the Patrick Mahomes and those guys, but when they threw them kind of guaranteed contracts over to Deshaun Watson, he kind of flopped. I know he hadn't played. And then Russell Wilson took that L. I see a Geno Smith coming out of nowhere, right? And playing good. But are we saying Geno Smith is just so good, or was it that damn good coaching? Because Pete Carroll was coaching Russell Wilson and he was turning up. Russell Wilson leaves, he turning down. And then now Geno Smith comes over here, he's turning up. And remember, before he got there, he was turning down. So you get what I'm saying? So is it really the quarterback or is it the coaching? You get what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like there's going to be some talk in there, and this is trust me, all Eagles fans, no hating on no Jalen Hurts or nothing like that. But, I mean, he got a lot of weapons now. You feel me? He got a lot of weapons. It makes it a little bit easier when you got an A.J. Brown and a Devontae Smith and, Dallas Goedert, and your offensive line is banging and Miles Sanders is
and those guys aren't going
up
anywhere.
You feel me?
That's the key to it, too, though.
That's the key to it. That could be the key. But that could also sit back in the organization could say, maybe we don't have to go all out and pay that money because we got all these guys around. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's going to be an interesting offseason with Jalen Hurts. Like I said, like we said, I don't think that's going to be a cut and dry thing. I think that's going to be a back and forth thing. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as a lot of Philly people think just because of this year. Because let's be honest, this is only 1 year where he's really turned up. Only really 1 year. So are you really going to pay a player off of 1 year?
But
that's risky.
My thing is, and I'm sure, his agents are going to bring this up. Even if you go off his first year, he was probably like a mid to I wouldn't say he was probably like in that 17 to like 21 range as far as top 32 quarterbacks go. I think that's fair to say in his first full year as a starter. And then this year, obviously, he's looking at maybe top 5, top 10, depending on who you ask. So even if you median that, you're looking at a mid-level quarterback. And now we look at mid-level quarterback contracts. You're still bringing in around 40 a year, right? Like that's still kind of what you're
money.
Yeah,
but
so it's like
these guys, they want the big dollars.
Exactly.
You feel me? They want to get paid.
It comes down to, I think, Howie Roseman make it, because this is a guy that, 2 years ago when I first started my podcast, I had like fire Howie, merchandise and stuff. This is a guy that has made a lot of dumb decisions, and especially when it comes to thinking he's smarter than everybody in the room. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that Jalen Hurts and his team says something that totally turns off Howie. I don't think that will happen, but it could. It definitely could. So we'll see what happens. I think that we get it done. But again, like I said, I don't think it's going to be as cut and dry. And I think that we do have the team in place to be fine. I think that if you're going to keep this core, then I think Jalen Hurts is a perfect quarterback to run this system. And who knows? I think that he might even come back and say, listen, I want to play with my dogs. I know you just paid my boy AJ. I know you're going to have to pay my boy Devontae. We just paid Dallas Goedert. You're paying my offensive lineman. Let's work it out. And I'm not saying, because even if he gives us one, which I think is going to happen, I think we'll extend him, right? We won't necessarily void this last year, give him a whole new contract. I think we'll give him that last fourth year, maybe give him a big signing bonus or something. And then his contract really kicks in, not next year, but the year after, right? If we're able to do that, we can continue to build. We are kings, and you love to rub it in my face all off season about how we love to backload contracts and we love to, restructure things, and it ends up screwing us sometimes. But we can do that, and we've shown the propensity to do that. So, with all that said, long story short, I think that we can make it work, especially with everything that is at our disposal option-wise when it comes to him. We're not in the situation like you guys were with Dak, and that's not to make a shot at you, but it was kind of more of like, all right, now you got to make a decision, or you're paying him top dollar. All right, now, you were in that spot like 2 times where I don't think we'll let ourselves get there. I don't see us getting there. I think we'll get it done as soon as we can, but it will be back and forth. There will be some conversation. So that was a long ass, and
I'm agree with Eternal right there. He ain't taking no damn discount.
It's not discount though. It's not discount, right? Like,
he gonna want to get paid. He gonna want to get paid. Big
but
money.
if I can turn 5 or 6 million of that into a signing bonus, or a very easily achievable, measurable, like, snaps or something like that, then that doesn't necessarily hit your cap the same way, right? I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a cap wizard, but Howie Roseman is good at making contracts. So maybe they sit down and they really just make a lot of fine print to the, contract, so that it doesn't necessarily hit the cap the same way. I'm hoping, right? I'm trying to be an analytic fan, but at the end of the day, it's that second part. I'm being a fan. So
I want to ask you I want to ask you another question though. You had brought up Lane Johnson. That was very curious to me, because y'all worship Lane Johnson like he's a god over there in Philly. Good Lord. But he's got whatever. But he's a very good player, so I'm not even gonna say nothing against that, because Lane Johnson's a damn good player. Like, I'd be a hater and say if he wasn't. He's a damn good player. But he does have that injury. Shout outs to him for saying, you know what, I don't care about this injury. I'm going hard. This could be it with me in Philly. This could be, who knows? You know what I'm saying? So he's like, I'm going for it. But how do you really feel? Because he's not going to be 100% healthy, and we don't know. You guys don't know how that injury is really going to work, and that's going to be huge. That's going to be a huge thing in these playoffs, because you guys have had one of the best offensive lines, I say, probably the last couple of years, and this year especially. You guys have. I looked at Pro Football Focus rankings pretty much the whole year, and they had Philly number 1. And people hate on Pro Football, but the numbers are real. But how do you feel about that going into the playoffs?
I'm happy that he's going to be out there. Having the jersey out there, I feel like will be comforting for a guy like Jalen Hurts. You see your guy there, right? And a lot of people are saying 80% of Lane Johnson is better than a lot of tackles in the league, which is probably true, but it does worry me. It definitely does worry me, especially for the long term, because like I said, when I was talking about it, he's eventually going to have to get that surgery. And what does that mean, for next year? Does that mean he's going to miss a couple games, going into the year? Are we going to end up drafting his replacement this year and kind of pushing him along? There's a lot of good, which I can't wait to get into the draft talk with you, because there's a lot of good prospects this year. But, there's guys that can, theoretically take his spot. And is that going to be the concern? I look at it again. I have faith in this organization now, at least from what they've done for the past couple years in the draft and in the off seasons, that they're going to make the right decisions when it comes to their players. But I do feel like him, like you said, kind of saying, screw this injury, I'm going to go out there and play, maybe does say something about his future with the Eagles. But to keep it on the playoffs, I said this before and I'll say it again. I think that if you're looking at a short-term window where you're saying, okay, we're only going to have Lane Johnson out until the playoffs, and he's going to be 100%. That's the main part of this. He's going to be 100%. Then I'm not too worried. But going into the playoffs saying, he might go down at any moment, I don't know who's going to go in for him. I don't know if I feel 100% comfortable with a Jack Driscoll. And do you want to, disrupt two positions, by moving a guy like Jordan Mailata to the right tackle and moving an Andre Dillard into your left tackle spot? So we do have options, which is probably a good thing, right? But it is worrisome because you want Lane Johnson out there. So it's one of those beggars can't be choosers. Like, I can't ask him to just magically be healed, but it is what it is. But hopefully we get this bye week, and that's an extra week for him to get a little bit healthier, and it's less of a concern. But he is a dog, man, and he's playing for legacy at this point. He don't really have anything else to prove. I think that all Eagles fans will, admit that we love the guy. So it sucks, but at the same time, I'm glad he's going to be out there. It's a tough situation either way, because I can't heal the guy, so it sucks. But like I'm glad he's at least.
I listened to what you were saying about your injuries, but we were dealing with the same type of injuries. You know what I'm saying? We have our guys out. We lost Terrence Steele. He was a huge addition. And now you got Tyron Smith, who we love, but we worry about injury with him. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he been injured his last 5 years. I mean, he's injury prone. He's toward the end, and they kicked him at right tackle, which he didn't play for 10 years since his rookie year. So he's played admirably. And now we have the situation where our center is out. Well, he had the high ankle sprain. They said Biadish might be back, but we don't know how healthy he is with a high ankle sprain. Those are hard. I've had one. Those are like a broken ankle. You know what I'm saying? So you have the influx of Connor McGovern going to be your center? Y'all know about Jason Peters. Is Jason Peters, is he going to be the left tackle? Are they going to move him inside? We have a lot of issues going on along that offensive line as well, especially going to the playoffs, because we don't have the young offensive line. Let's keep it real. The guys that are hurt, you have a Tyron Smith, who's 33 years old, who's injury prone. Jason Peters, who's 40, right? Zach Martin, who's 32. He's not young anymore, even though he's still a dog. And then you got your young buck on the outside. But we're dealing with those things along the injuries as well on both fronts. So, kudos to both of our squads. That's why I'll say kudos to both of our squads. We have some tough injuries, but we've still been able to play through them and do it. But I want to ask you one more question. Let's say you get the number one, say you beat the Giants, you keep that number one seed, and you lose in that first round. What? Okay, let's say you got the number one seed, but what would happen? What would you do, Joe, if y'all really were a one and done? How would you really feel?
We got the number one seed and we're a one and done. I would be pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. And obviously it depends. It's context means a lot, right? If you go out there in a dog fight and lose to like the eventual Super Bowl champions, it maybe stings a little bit less. But I definitely have my hopes up for this team. I think it would hurt more if we lost the game to the Giants and then lost in the wild card. I would be like royally pissed off. I think you would see a different. Right. But I think that if you go out there, you win this with Jalen, and you make the one seed, and you have that bye week, you get a little bit healthier, and you lose to a very good team that's just getting hot, at the right time, and you
Dallas Cowboys.
Anybody but the Dallas Cowboys. But you see the, like, as long as you see the hey, all right, we just got to fix this. We got to clean this up. You know what I'm saying? If I can say that and kind of look at the things that are, we got to fix this, fix that, and we can move forward with it, it'll sting, but at least you can do that. Yeah, I would be pissed. I really don't know how else to answer that question. I would be so upset because you build it right. Going into the season, I even said it to you when I said we could go 14-3. We could get to the playoffs and not be a good team because there wasn't a lot of good teams on our schedule.
Right.
As I saw the schedule play out, I don't necessarily feel that way, but that's what I said in the beginning of the year, right? So we could that could play out. We could find out that, hey, you didn't play nobody. You're not really as good as you thought. You could get punched in the mouth. I don't want that to happen. I will say that there's a little bit of a silver lining, and maybe I shouldn't talk this into existence, but there is a silver lining if the Eagles were to lose against the Giants. So if the Eagles lose to the Giants, I get to go. My girlfriend doesn't know this yet, and she doesn't. And she probably will be mad because
he spoke it in the air.
He
spoke it in the air.
But I'm saying they would be in Tampa again.
He fell for it.
They would be in Tampa again. I'm just saying, so I can maybe go to the game if they went to the play. But I would not want that to happen.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, go there and watch us. Go there and watch us.
I'll definitely go watch
you. You hate
I'll probably get some tickets too. I'm gonna see if I can get some free tickets. Maybe I'll call you. Come down.
Bro, if you do that,
find some tickets.
We ain't gonna be the best of enemies podcast. We're gonna be best of friends enemies podcast.
Right? We're gonna be sitting there drinking margaritas, like we're having a picture with the cutout
Eagles,
faces, both of us in it. But I'll see what I can do because obviously I know people out here that. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. I didn't read any of these super chats, but shout out to everybody that have been giving super chats, man. This is Mr. Rudy Poo said Cowboys fans fronting like they didn't lose to Tampa this year, and Brady is now 7-0 against them. Tom is basically their boogeyman.
Oh no,
I'm not. Tom is my boogeyman right now. I ain't gonna cap.
Oh no.
But go ahead.
Let me. Yeah, I want all that smoke, Mr. Roddy Poo. I don't care. I totally get it. I totally agree with you. I've been saying this. I made a video this week, last week, and the week before that I want the Tom Brady smoke. I want all the Tom Brady smoke. You're right. He is 7-0, 5-0 with New England, 2-0 with Tampa Bay. And I'm telling Dallas Cowboys this. If they would ever listen to my channel, this is what I'm telling them. You're going to just let this dude keep beating you. He's 45. You don't think he knows that he's undefeated against Dallas? You know how Tom Brady is. You don't think he don't take that personal that he's beat the Dallas Cowboys his whole career and they've never beat him? Okay, this dude is 45 years old. How many times you gonna get a chance to beat him? They beat him this year. I mean, we banged with them last year, and I feel like we should have won that game. He brought them back. This game, the first game, they whooped our ass. No doubts about it. They whooped our butts. But here's why you would want them. Okay, number one, you finally get to slay that dragon and put a L by his name with the Dallas Cowboys. And number two, their defense called you out, Kellen Moore. Their defense said, we knew all your plays. We knew everything y'all were doing. Why wouldn't you want that challenge as an offensive coordinator to go against this defense again that called you out and said that you don't know what you're doing and we can beat you every single time? No, if I was an offensive coordinator and a defensive player came out and said that about me and we got to see you again in the playoffs, I want all that smoke. I'm going to show you all kind of stuff your defense ain't never seen and ain't been prepared for. So the way y'all think we're going to come into the game, we'll start that, make it look like we're going to do that and do something totally different. So Kellen Moore, if you would step up to the challenge and listen to what they say, you would want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers too. So I don't care about the number one seed, Joe. If y'all lose it, y'all win it, I don't care. I want to go on the road. We're 8-1 at home. People say, no, we don't play good at home. You know what I'm saying? Not no playoffs. Okay. No, we don't. Not in my opinion. We don't. It's just the pressure. But they just don't. It's just not good. But if we go on the road, right? You ain't got to hear all that stuff in Dallas. You ain't got to hear all that stuff. And then everybody's if you go again on the road, right, Joe, against Tampa, what are they all going to be saying? Yep, Dallas lost. Yep, Tom Brady owns them. Yep, we're going to see vintage Tom Brady again. And think about this, and my last thing with this, Joe. If Dallas were to beat Tampa in the playoffs, wouldn't that be a confidence booster going into the next round, knowing that you finally slayed a dragon? People always saying you are one and done in the playoffs, and you beat Brady at Tampa in the playoffs going to the next round. Nah, man, I think Cowboys will be on a strong high, and then I think they'll play even stronger after that, because I felt like last year if we could just got past San Francisco, we could have made it to the chip, but that was the one team that we had to get past, and we couldn't.
I love our chat. Some of the stuff people saying is hilarious, man. It is hilarious.
Hey,
But
hey
I
Joe,
agree,
before
100%.
you read that super chat, everybody who's saying that in the chat and we played Tom Brady and we beat him, make sure y'all come back because I don't ever see y'all when we win and I'm right. I don't never see y'all in the chat. I only see y'all in the chat when it ain't right. When I'm right, y'all ain't in the chat. Make sure you're in the chat when I'm right on this one.
I will say after last year, I do want to beat them just because of what that, the viral clip came out with Jalen Hurts. Not with Jalen Hurts, but about Jalen Hurts, where they were like, this guy can't read a defense. So I would like to just, 40-0 him real quick. But obviously you would have to lose a game for that. So I don't see that happening. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. But I missed a whole bunch of whatever super chats, and I can't go all the way back. So at least I found one more from Tavis, I think the name
Yeah,
is.
that's my cousin, and he made sure he's like, show my super chat because it gave you love, fam.
Yeah, no, I didn't even read it. He said, I was on Hurts last year and he took the Eagles to the playoffs his first full season, and there was some Eagles fans calling him trash. That's a fact. I wasn't
That was
calling him
last year. They work
trash.
on. There was a lot of Eagles
Yeah,
fans like
no, there
he
was a lot of
ain't.
people calling him trash. I wasn't calling him trash, but I think I was very honest about what I was concerned with. You know what I'm saying? Like I gave him all the time, and it was what it was. But there was definitely concerns for me, and I'll tell you straight off the rip, I am very excited to be wrong about that. Never been happier to be wrong about something than I am with that. So hey, it is
Right.
what it is. People telling me I'm delusional for saying 40-0 the Bucks. I want us to, you know what I'm saying? Like, get your pride back, Jalen. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's my
Yeah.
score prediction. I'm just saying.
I'm tired of
I
Tom
mean,
Brady,
they
bro.
looking
I'm
good
tired of
too.
Aaron Rodgers, bro. I'm tired of them two dudes. I'm tired of them every year. Tom Brady. Now they're and look what Aaron Rodgers done. He's bringing them back. They may make the playoffs. I don't care. I'm not scared of no Aaron Rodgers. He's 8-2 against Dallas. He owns Dallas. I get it, but he didn't beat Dallas in that game when we played them. Aaron Rodgers did not beat us. They ran the ball. They did not try to put the ball in his hands. They were running the ball on us, and that was just a little. That was ours. That was. I'm gonna keep it real. When y'all beat us, our 4 losses. You just like you mentioned your losses. Our 4 losses. I took the L against the Bucks. They beat us. I took the L against y'all. Y'all beat us. But I'm not going to accept those L's against Green Bay because we had 28-14, we lost. Tom Brady, that wasn't them coming back and doing something miraculous. No, that was Dallas Cowboys getting in our own way, and we lost it. It wasn't no Tom Brady. And that damn Jacksonville game, yes, Trevor Lawrence, we talked about it. Hey, he's a better quarterback, and he might be that guy that they're talking about. But Trevor Lawrence didn't win that damn game for them. That was Dallas doing stupid stuff, and that's why we lost it. We had them 27-10. I don't want to hear Trevor Lawrence showed you was a franchise. No, he didn't. You know what he showed? That Dallas do be doing dumb stuff in them games.
Facts.
So that's what it is
I
right
agree.
there, in my opinion, with that.
I want to ask you one more question. And first of all, I want to give a quick public service announcement because I think my boy's going to have like a conniption if I don't. But shout out to my guy, Life's Crazy, all right? Somebody, one of us Eagles fans owes him a bottle, okay?
Yeah, man, give him his bottle, man. He been coming on every week. Give him his
my man,
stuff.
yo, he has been on here every single day. Somebody owes me a bottle. I don't know who it is. So
somebody give my man Life Crazy his bottle. Yeah, I might.
You know what I'm saying? At some point, I might just end up buying him the bottle because I don't even know who owes it to him. But no, I want to ask
bottle
you a
you
question.
Want, Life Crazy? Put the bottle.
I know, right? Yeah, let us know. Let us know what we got to get you.
But I
want to ask you a question because there's talks.
Don't be putting no Dom Perignon. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I know. We need something under like $30.
Yeah,
so we can go half on.
$30 holla, we got you. You feel me?
Exactly. So we can go half on. But no, I want to ask you a question before the last question. I want to ask you. There's talks about how people are going to handle the whole Bills and Bengals game situation, and prayers obviously for DeMar and a terrible situation. I kind of wanted to just talk about football, but now that we're kind of on the topic, I definitely want to give my prayers and thoughts and not just go over it. But I do want to ask you because something came up and they're talking about possibly that they would give the first seed the choice because they would have to change some things up. But the main thing I wanted to ask about is they said they would give the first seed the choice of either home field advantage or the bye week. That was a suggestion that Adam Schefter made. All right. It's not necessarily something that's going to happen. But if the Dallas Cowboys were in that situation right? And you guys ended up being the first or the second seed, I guess, in that situation. It doesn't matter. Because all right, so the first seed gets to choose either home field or the bye, and then the second seed would get the other, right? Would you rather your Dallas Cowboys have home field advantage throughout the playoffs or have a bye?
Have home field advantage or have a bye? Just give me the bye. I'm cool with going on the road. I really don't care about the home field. I don't feel like that. No, I'm cool. Let's go on the road. Give me a bye so we can get healthy and let's get right back at it. I don't need that home field. And like I said, I just don't feel like the Dallas play good, especially in playoffs. Regular season, yeah. Playoffs, let's go away and let's do it.
Yeah, I would. It sucks. It's a weird question for me because when I first heard it, I was like, definitely I want the bye week because we need to get healthy. But the Eagles are a different beast at home. I just feel like we're very hard to beat at home. But the current situation, I would say give me the bye week because I want to get healthy. But any other year, honestly, I might take the home field advantage because I just feel like when it comes through the link, it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? We make that stadium rock. So that's kind of where I'm at. But shout out to Life's Crazy. He said he's smoking that fried Philly loud back. And
Hey,
Crown.
but he
What
said
kind of crown?
some crown. Oh, we got you. Yeah,
Hey,
put the crown in
yeah.
there. What crown? Yeah, crown ain't nothing. Name the crown you want, and we're gonna get you that. Life's Crazy. We got you, big dog.
Life's Crazy.
Jump in my chat when I see you, and then we'll figure it out, and I'll get it out to you personally. So just holler at me, Life's Crazy, and we got you. So whoever was in the chat, we got you.
But that's where I would say. I would probably say give me the bye week in this situation, but any other situation, I'd probably just say give me the home field advantage. I think that we have a real advantage when it comes to our home field. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But
I think y'all play. Yeah, y'all need that home field advantage. I feel like y'all need to y'all feed off of it. I don't know if the Cowboys feed off it necessarily. Maybe we do, but I don't think we necessarily do. I don't think the Cowboys crowd is crazy like your guys is. You guys are fanatics. You guys are like it's fanatical, and I think that's why I think you guys have more of a home field advantage than us. It gets loud in Dallas. You have the 100,000, all that good stuff. But bruh, I just don't feel because it's quiet in them stadiums. I've been in the stadium when we played you guys. Remember when we played y'all and Amari Cooper went crazy and had and we beat y'all in the overtime game. I was at that overtime game when they tipped off the hands and he caught it and we won. Right? It was quiet the first 3 quarters up in that stadium. They wasn't saying nothing till the end. You know what I mean? So let's go on the road. Let's be road warriors. Let's get that super chat too.
You got a $20 super chat real
quick.
Got
to get this $20 holla. Shout out to my dog Kenneth Lott. And shout out to everybody who are been doing the super chats. Y'all been excellent. Shout out everybody in the feed. Y'all been killing it. We appreciate all y'all and we love all y'all. Even you Eagles fans, I love you. All right, remember that. He says, as long as Dak is my QB in the passing offense, he said, I fear no Eagles, period. I mean, the record speaks for itself, dog. That's all I got to say.
He just paid $20 to say some lies.
Know that. Is that really lies, Joe?
That's so scary. Y'all scared of the Eagles. I would be afraid of the Eagles if I was y'all. I mean, but
bro,
I guess
stop.
That might be a story for another time.
Yeah, we'll leave that alone because I'll just go back and just show you the ownership of Dak Prescott. I will leave it alone because I will show you the ownership that Dak Prescott owns the NFC East and he owns the Eagles. Actual factual.
Hopefully
these
you
aren't
don't own another, first round exit. That's the hope.
And hopefully, and hopefully you guys don't do the same thing because you guys got a lot of pressure on you too.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But today was a lot of fun. Shout out to we still got 170 people in the chat between all the chats. So definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the share,
give your plug, give yourself a plug in too, man.
Say again.
Get your selfish plug in there too, man.
Oh yeah, we actually had to move back to I forgot to say we actually had to move back the launch date for our NFT project with Michael Vick. So it's gonna we didn't have to, but with the whole situation with DeMar and everything going on, we didn't feel like it was right to really drop it that day. So we did move it back. It's gonna be Thursday. So Thursday coming up, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Not tomorrow, but next or not this Thursday. Obviously not today, but next Thursday we're gonna drop. I'll be live at fanfield.io on Instagram. We'll have Michael Vick on there, so come through, talk your talk, and yeah, man, Fanfield Sports. We're gonna have some fun. Philly the podcast. Gonna have even more fun. And man, I know you said you love them, but I can't stand none of you Cowboys fans. I'll say that right now. I don't care how much money you put in these chats. I don't like none of y'all. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't listen to you Phillies because all you Philly fans, y'all just be hating. So I just feel like hate is in y'all blood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Sometimes.
I just take it with a grain of salt because it's and y'all have every right to hate because y'all ain't never did nothing except 2017. So y'all got every right to hate. I would be mad too. And no, I ain't going back to the 90s, but y'all be chokers, bro. You only got one thing.
I'm just gonna say y'all gonna run out.
Thing.
Y'all gonna start running out of breath when you say y'all haven't done nothing except for 2017 and 2021
That's fine.
and 2020 this and because we're gonna be a dynasty. I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you, Eagles.
You're
Eagles
not going to be a dynasty with Nick
time.
Sirianni. I'm sorry, I'm just not giving him props as a great coach.
But you heard my girl just do the
Sirianni
bird sound.
Yeah.
My girl just did a bird sound. That thing scared me. I ain't even gonna cap. I was like, yo, what was that?
He's like, "Is a bird in the house?"
She did good. She did good. I was like, hold up. I'm living with a voice actor. Let me find out.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. You better get that voice again and put it down on the audio. And next time you open up a show, bang. You feel me?
Shout out to Life's Crazy with the $2 super chat. He said, Joe, y'all know Hurts still ain't on DAC level. You know, joke's on you because I don't know. So thank you for the $2, but still don't know. I still don't know. But shout out to Life's Crazy, man. I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's always cool to just be able to just hop on here, have no script, have really no direction at all, and just start talking.
Right.
And you know, the chat just keeps it, you know, it keeps feeding the fire. And obviously you're my brother, man. So this is always fun. But do you want to say anything before we let these beautiful people go?
Oh no, just continue praise for the more out there. He's making an amazing recovery. Heard he's talking, eating, just amazing. But you know, that's credit to two things. Credit to the God, number one. That's what I believe in. I'm sorry, I believe in the God, and I believe He has grace and mercy. But also shout outs to those CPR people, because if it wasn't for them coming over there and doing what we did, we could have saw a tragedy, real life on the field. You feel me? So shout out to that medical team, that medical staff. That's awesome. They brought him back twice. And he doesn't have any neurological damage in his brain or anything. You know, he didn't breathe for like 6 minutes. You know, my girl, she does medical, and for you not to get air to your brain for 6 minutes, that's like almost permanent, brain damage. So I'm just so happy that, everything is, eventually starting to work out with that. Makes me feel good. Shout out to you doing your thing over there. I've really been watching it from afar from when it started this year and watching how it's been growing. All the great interviews you've been having, they've been really good. And just shout outs to you and shout outs to our show, man. We started this a long time ago, man. And I'm just super hyped how we really built this thing. But it wasn't just us building this thing, even though you Philly fans to be goofy as hell and say the most dumbest comments in here. I love y'all, because without y'all, without our Dallas fans, this wouldn't be possible. You guys make this possible as well. So I just want to give you guys a shout out for supporting our show, letting it grow the way it did. We started out, right around the draft. It grew. We're going to hit the draft again, but it started growing in leaps and bounds. We had great visitors, George Carmen, who I'm going to have on tomorrow. We're going to do our Washington game. We have had great interviews. You had Kyle Humans on. I mean, we've done a lot of good things with this, and I think it's really brought that what we were talking about in the beginning, what we wanted to create this show with, Joe, it's happened, and I like it. We had this goal, and we see this goal working. That's why I'm excited about the show. We had goals we had talked about before this show started, and now to see them coming into fruition is an awesome thing. So this shout outs to the show, shout outs to all you guys, man. I've had a great time, and ready for these playoffs. It's going to be exciting playoffs.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait. Yeah, and it has kind of become like its own life of sorts. But I love it. I love doing the show. So hey, we only getting started. Once we hit that year, I'm gonna have to go back and get some of our clips and look at our first years of drafting and stuff, because a lot of the guys that we were really high on were pretty damn good.
They're turning up. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
high
so
on some
it's like
guys this year. And I've been looking at some guys.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we check us out. We were spot on some guys up in here. So
Yeah, I'm gonna pat
get
myself
ready
on the
again.
back.
Yeah, I'm gonna pat myself on the back too because I've been looking at some players I was talking about and they're turning up. So I'm like, okay, let's do it again because we really delved in that draft, man. We really went hard
Facts.
with that draft. We went, we really broke it down as hard as we could. We really studied it. We really put a lot of effort into that draft, man. And we're gonna do it again this year. We put a lot of effort into this show, and I just like to see the fruits of our labor that's happening right now. And just continue to hit that like button, continue to share this, subscribe to either one of our channels. Hey, man. Even if you hate it, you can still subscribe and say, "Hey, I'll love to support my brother out there in the streets." You feel me? So you can still hate me, but the support can still be real. So just remember that, man. We all in this together, beyond sports. You feel me? And let's also remember it's just sports, y'all. This ain't serious. Don't none of y'all own nothing with Philly. I don't own nothing with Dallas. So let's just keep it a G. You know what I'm saying? Got to be all getting personal. We just we just sports fans talking like this. We having good conversation. We have a little trash talking, but let's never get with the personal stuff because that ain't never good.
Yeah, shout out to Stelios Cowboys the $2 super chat to you saying Eagles 1 ring team. It is what it is, man. And one day we're gonna be a 2-ring team. Okay, we're gonna be a 2-ring, then we're gonna be a 3-team.
I hope it ain't this year. Because if it's this year, I don't know. If you get a championship this year, we ain't doing the best enemies podcast. I ain't able to talk. All you gonna be fly. Please don't. Please.
We're going live for that too. I'm gonna be live from the parade. You know what I'm saying? That's the enemies live from the parade. But either way, man, we might get the heck out of here, man. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Again, like I said, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. But other than that, I am Joe. That is James. And we are the best of enemies. Peace.
Peace. Dan.
We're brothers, we're happy and we're singing and we're colored.